This is Randy Orton revising his contract, all right, for SmackDown. In what feels like breaking news, if you didn't see SmackDown, if you haven't kept up with WWE, Randy Orton has moved on from Raw, where he was originally at, where he got hurt, and he is now part of the SmackDown brand, where he actually gave an RKO out of nowhere to Nick Aldis, the SmackDown GM. He's going for the bloodline. He said it on Monday Night Raw to open up the show, and it was beautiful to see. It was beautiful to see that Randy still blames the bloodline, rightfully so, for his massive injury and being shelved for about 18 months. I like that they're applying real life into this story. They're applying the injury and the bloodline taking him out. And he even went ahead and kind of forgave Jay. He told Jay, look, if you're not part of the bloodline, then we're good. We're good. Because Jay went up to him and said, hey, Randy, you know, I had your back, this and that, whatever. And Jay just wanted to be cool with Randy. And Randy made it very loud and clear that he's all good with Jay as long as he has nothing to do with the bloodline, which is obvious for right now, the story that's going on. Jay is not in the bloodline. There's no twists and turns coming with that. But Randy, you know, being one of the greatest of all time that he is, ends up showing up on Friday Night SmackDown. And, you know, I really didn't expect for them to move him right away like that. I thought he was going to be a free agent a little longer. But he's targeting the bloodline, like I said. And he started off with Jimmy and Solo in the ring. Paul Heyman was out there, and no one can contain this man. He went off, and, you know, he almost got double teamed. But LA Knight proving that he is still the megastar despite CM Punk returning, despite Randy Orton returning. LA Knight, man, still showing his value through and through. The crowd erupted like a volcano. It was amazing to see LA Knight get the pop that he got despite everything that's been going on in WWE this week. So for Randy Orton going after the bloodline, I like what they're doing here. LA Knight still has some unfinished business. I know that LA Knight is not going to beat Roman Reigns, especially at the Royal Rumble, but I would like for LA Knight to show up at the Royal Rumble, enter the Royal Rumble, and be part of the Final Four. You know, the Final Four of the Rumble always leaves a lasting impact. It's one of those things that you memorize more than the entire match itself. And having LA Knight kind of show out like Gunther did last year. Brian and I were discussing this in a party this past week. Having LA Knight show up and do his thing at the Rumble will definitely work magic. And let's face it, Randy Orton now being on SmackDown gives us that championship match we always wanted to see, that Riddle ultimately tried having with Roman Reigns. Riddle went up against Roman Reigns and failed miserably on that one Friday Night SmackDown when Randy had just gotten hurt, remember? It was soon after the fact. And look, I love that Randy's back. I don't mind he's going for the title. I know Roman needs some valid opponents, and the story writes itself. Do you see Randy Orton actually having an opportunity at beating Roman Reigns? You know, I was thinking yesterday, I went back and watched some of the highlight promos between The Rock and CM Punk. CM Punk was champion for over 430 days. The Rock came back and pretty much, you know, took the belt from him at that Royal Rumble in 2013. And, you know, after a super long reign, The Rock comes back as a surprise and he's gunning for the title. What if this is a similar instance? And I'm just playing devil's advocate here, right? Because I truly, honestly don't believe Randy's going to be the guy to beat him. But The Rock didn't need to beat CM Punk then. The Rock didn't need to beat CM Punk. You know, Roman Reigns didn't really need to beat Brock Lesnar when he did. But those are things that still happen. Whether you loved it or hated it, got people talking. So is Randy a valid opponent? Is Randy a formidable opponent for Roman Reigns? Who do you think can ultimately beat Roman Reigns, if not Randy? I think there's a case to be made for Randy Orton. And now that he's on SmackDown, that's a valid option. Not just because the feud writes itself, like I said, but he's part of the brand going forward. So people can't complain about Randy jumping over to face Roman for the sake of, you know, just facing Roman. How is Cody gonna get to Roman now? I don't know. Things are getting complicated, and this is a good problem to have. There's so many people that could go after the title. I mean, CM Punk is one of them. There's even rumors that CM Punk is back to face Roman Reigns. Rock was a placeholder for Cena, and I understand that, but what if Randy's a placeholder for Cody? You know, and you're right, VJ. You hit it right on the head right there. He could very well be a placeholder for Cody. Ahmed said it's Cody, but I don't know, man. It could really be anyone, and we won't see it coming. We sure didn't see The Rock beating CM Punk the way he did. I mean, after John Cena won the Rumble, it became clear that was going to line up for The Rock and Cena to face off at WrestleMania. But we just don't know what the future holds for Roman, especially with how many shows he's been missing. It seems like he's only going to appear once in December, so there's not going to be a whole lot to do with Roman here, but Randy has his hands full. He still has to go through Jimmy. He still has to go through Solo. He's going to have a little entanglement with Paul Heyman. Randy's going to do Randy, and he's going to RKO everyone on his way to Roman, so maybe that gives a chance to LA Knight to kind of do something. Cody and Randy at Mania would be full circle. It's still a big moment. I don't know. I'm intrigued by this signing for SmackDown, and what does this say for Nick Aldis, who's already getting physical? A guy who came in as just the GM is now getting over with the fans, getting popular, and getting physical with the wrestlers. What if there's a future match in place for Randy to face off against Nick Aldis? Remember, when Bryan Danielson got healthy, he was holding on to some receipts, and he had some great feuds right after he came back. So what if Nick Aldis is recovering from an injury, or this is just WWE, kind of placing his character into the fold, and ultimately we'll see a big feud between Randy and Nick, where Nick gets finally the opportunity he's been, longing for in his wrestling career. Who knows, man? I really like Randy going to SmackDown. I'll say that much.